Welcome to the Can I Ask You a Question podcast with Steve and Drew. How you doing today, Drew?
I'm good. Coming from a dimly lit basement in Union, Kentucky. Um, so just want to
Oh,
get
I
you
thought
ready
you were in
for
outer
that.
space, man. Like I was
I,
feeling all Apollo 13 here.
I'm not. I have not been held against my will. This is just the basement that everybody hung out in middle school. So
Yeah,
everybody's sleeping. It's 6:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. So just doing what I can down here.
just you don't want to disturb the kids before you have to.
Yeah, or my wife.
Yes, fair enough. Yes, here it's 12:30 on a Sunday. So, but because of the different rules of the moment, there's no church today. So,
Mm,
one positive is I can spend some time talking to you.
holla back.
But
I like it.
yeah, Drew. But what's been going on? How has life been since our last conversation?
Wow. So, since the last time we recorded, I feel like we have had kind of role reversal as it comes to the C word, COVID, and had a wedding reception, DJ'd yesterday in the afternoon. So it was a fun time, but it felt normal. It felt like we were getting back to kind of normal life, just with people mingling and yeah, it was nice. Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest thing of the moment that comes to mind for me. But then we had the conclusion of the boys Sweet 16 high school tournament we talked about last time. Northern Kentucky represented. Highlands
Mm.
took care of business. Didn't get to catch any games, but score wise, it looked like they were just the better team each game. So it was nice to
Yeah.
see. I know going back to when we were in high school, we always wanted to see the ninth do well, and it's just you want to see your region do well in the state. So that was nice, and it's Masters Sunday, so
Oh,
wearing my hat that was given to me back in the day by our lead cafeteria worker when I was working at Twin Hoffel Middle School. Her husband went and was nice enough to bring me back a hat. So
wow.
it's typically the hat that I
That's
throw on during Masters weekend every year.
but when they win the Masters, I'm a total golf. I don't know anything about golf. You know this, but they get like a green jacket. Is that what they get, or a yellow jacket? It's green,
Gold
right? Is it
jacket,
yellow in
green
the
jacket.
NFL?
Yeah, yeah. They get a green jacket.
Yeah, but is there somebody else gets a yellow jacket? That's the NFL. Like I think
I think
they
that's the
get.
Hall of Fame in the NFL.
Yeah, so yeah, so the green jacket. No Tiger Woods this time though. I guess his accident is
Yeah, he's
going to
still
keep him out for
recovering.
a long while.
hmm Yeah, I
But
don't know if I've seen a timetable on when he'll return, but yeah, he's hanging out at the house, just
yeah,
watching it. Sure, he's torn up about it, but hopefully,
no pun intended.
yeah, hopefully a recovery is in the near future for him, and he can close out his career the way he wants to.
Yeah,
I know right before that he had back surgery, so he was kind of due to be out for a little bit. But he's falling apart.
yeah.
Like he's yeah, he's had a few surgeries here lately where you're like, man, can he come back? But
I think we'll see him again.
I hope so.
I,
I like this
a little
Tiger Woods,
redemption. Yeah, a little redemption story is always good.
the friendly Tiger Woods that all the young guys appreciate.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for the sport.
Well, good that you have a little bit of normalcy. That is far from what we've experienced here. It's fun to hear back the last episode, our first episode, and to hear how I talked about life being easy and casual, and then just after that recording, everything went upside down here. So we've had nothing that has felt normal for the last uh, couple weeks, really. Everything in our society is canceled and closed, and we're anxiously awaiting some announcements this week. So we're hoping that things will come back to normal because honestly, I've been in my house a whole lot. I've had a whole lot of virtual meetings on Teams and Zoom. I have
Mhm.
a full week course this week that was supposed to be in Oslo that's going to be on the computer screen. So a lot of things have been changed, and so I'm hoping that things come back to normal. But really for me, it's just I had my personal Sabbath with the NCAA tournament
Mm,
over the last several weeks. I got to watch lots of basketball. Was a little bit bummed that Gonzaga couldn't pull it out. A little bit bummed. But now I got nothing else before me except just counting down the days until I come back to the motherland to eat those New York City bagels and some La Rosa's
mm.
pizza, Montgomery Inn ribs, whatever else. I'm just going to eat it all and try to go for a run at least once during those 2 months when I'm
Nice.
there. So,
So when you're ready
but
for your 10 miler, you can just do it here.
yeah, a 10 miler. I need to start with just like a 10-minute run. That's the first step for me.
The first step. So, yeah.
But no, it was fun. It's fun to get to hopefully return to normal and then get a good chance to come back and visit the U.S. and maybe we can do one of our episodes in person
Wow.
or live in living color.
Wouldn't that be something for the audience?
That maybe we can have a crowd, like
We have a live
ESPN
audience.
First Take,
Yes.
or at
Yes.
least live guests. Maybe we can get Josh Ball and some other folks to come out and be a part
I
of the
think
live broadcast.
I think we could do that.
Let's dream big. Dream
We
big
could
dreams.
we need to get those chairs that are like not like quite like tall enough, but like they're low and always the ones are on stage that are kind of low and like
Yeah,
everyone just looks like big huge monsters in them. We need to get those kind of chairs. And then, like a first take or like a old school ESPN show, like where it's like the stands that are just like three deep, um,
yeah.
and just have like 19 people coming out to watch the show. But
Shouldn't be
like,
difficult.
yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think people would be foolish to not come and see us at our first live performance.
So I'm going to go ahead and go on the record. Free tickets um,
Ah, we didn't
to the
discuss
live
this. This
show.
is a joint business venture, but Drew has decided that
Tickets will be
they can be
free
free.
for our first live show,
Yeah,
whenever that may be. We'll keep you posted.
yeah, sometime in the next decade.
Yeah, yeah. But you can RSVP now at uh, Drew Fluencer. Just tag me on Instagram, and we'll make sure you get your free ticket.
Yeah, but actually reminds me, I have a question to ask you, and I didn't tell you about this question
Oh,
beforehand, but I want to ask you a question. Um, and well, that's the whole title of this whole podcast, right? And
it is.
so, can I ask you a question, Drew?
Sure.
Where did the Drew Fluencer name come from?
Wow.
That's
So
your Instagram handle,
yeah,
not your Twitter handle.
yeah, yeah. So
You're Drew Fluencer.
the Drew Fluencer mantra, the Drew Fluencer aura that I have.
Aura.
Basic, yeah, just like the colors that are around me and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that basically came from my love for influencers who just want to walk you around their house and tell you about their life. And I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and mimic that the best way I can. And that's kind of how it started was influencer and you know um, I just it was catchy to throw the Drew in there as well. But I love the parody of what everybody's doing, and I think that
Mm,
there's more and more people out there that are doing parodies of the traditional influencer. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's just it's fun for me um, just to see how many people get the joke. So
Yeah. And I will say that I believe very recently you had my all-time favorite Drew Fluencer post with your running excuses
mm,
inspiration video.
yeah,
That is worth a look back if anybody who hears this podcast has not seen.
yeah,
Worth a look back.
yeah, that one was a good one because a lot of those were just very recent. Had a few texts with some friends that were like, "Oh man, I deserve that," and
Yeah.
yeah, I said, "Well, I kind of thought of it the day that I did it. I'm like, man, all these motivational videos with 1,000 miles from, I think it's Vanessa Carlton. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
remember that music video. That was a good one. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just thought let's jump on the train of doing the motivational stuff. But you know, I have a few friends that'll text me and a few people that I run with consistently. And the one was talking to me that next morning. He's like, man, I'm lucky I wasn't on there. I'm like, oh, you're the rain guy. Like you, if it's raining, you're not running. So he's like, yeah, oh yeah, you're right, you're right. But the Parmesan cheese and the getting in a wrestling match and being out for a week. So actually, that would be this week that gentleman said he would be back in the fray. So we'll have to see. I'll shoot him a text and tell him what time I'm running tomorrow and see if he can make it out. And they're neighbors,
Yeah,
like they just live down the street, so I can run to their house. They just have to walk out their front door.
and they just got to jump on the train.
Hmm. Exactly.
We'll keep up the inspirational work.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's a fun world, influencing people with no real sponsors. You can kind of just go whatever direction you want.
If I could give you a few of my followers, I would do it so you could monetize.
Yeah. How many do you have?
1,200 or something. I don't know,
Oh,
1,100.
okay.
I heard
Yeah.
you can monetize over 1,000.
I mean, you could probably monetize with whatever, whoever thinks that you're worth their time.
Yeah, I'm not worth their time.
No, I'm not worth anybody's time. That's why it's just a big joke for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that question, Steve. Thank you for giving me a platform
Yes,
because that's all we want in 2021 is a platform.
that's right. And here's our platform to ask each other questions.
It's very true. So
Yeah.
you didn't tell me about that question, but I told you about this question. So Steve,
Ah,
can I ask you a question?
absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So my question to you. So it's Sunday morning here, and for the past I don't know however many months, um, our small groups at church have had to meet like on week, off week, on week, off week. So like we're rotating with like adult small groups and everything else. Um, so meeting with the youth group, we tend to talk with our 10th grade guys, which are roughly 15 years old, about jobs and like where we were when we were their age. So it got me thinking, Steve, what was your life like when you were 15, 16, 17 years old? What were you doing in terms of a job? Because I know we talk about jobs a lot.
Yeah.
um, because these kids want money. The
Yeah.
kids have free time and they want to give their skills to somebody and let them pay them. So, what was your
Hmm.
fondest memory of that time? What job stuck out to you the most?
Oof. I had a lot of jobs because we had the same kind of demanding schedule with basketball where I could only work during the summer months, right? Which I think is okay when
Yeah,
you're a younger person. But every time basketball would start, I would just have to quit, and then rather than go back to the same job, I would just get a different one. And so I my very first job was at a place called Rallies. Is that still a
hmm,
restaurant in
yeah,
Kentucky?
yeah, I think
Rallies, a
so.
cheeseburger, yeah. And so I worked there when I was like 14. Like right after I turned 14, my mom just happened to see they were hiring, and I shouldn't have had that job, but it was a great thing. So I worked at Rallies, then I worked at Kroger, I worked at three different pizza places. Yeah, and then I landed at Panera Bread, where we
Mhm.
worked together. And I was there, I think, for a better part of 2 years because it was so close to school. Or a year and a half. I forget how long I was there. I feel like I
Yeah,
was there for a little while.
yeah,
And because I remember we opened the restaurant, the first
okay,
staff member. But those were the jobs I had. I had a lot. I also worked at summer camp with kids, but that really began mostly after high school.
yeah,
As a young adult, I worked there. So, but I had all the. I feel like when you drive around northern Kentucky, there it's hard. It's easier to find a place I have worked than have not worked. So,
yeah,
but what about you?
yeah. I mean, my story was very similar. My mom was actually working at Rimke um, when I was in eighth grade, so like just turned 15, and that was like the earliest that you could work. I think you were kind of in the middle of like child labor laws there as
Yeah,
a
I have no
15 year
idea
old.
how I worked when I was
I don't know
14.
either.
I have
It's
no
pretty
idea.
crazy. But
Yeah.
I do remember working at Rimke as a bagger, and then from there, I think I think that I just jumped from there to maybe Taco Bell.
Yeah, didn't you work at the putt putt place too, or am I misremembering? I thought you worked at a mini golf
No,
place, but no.
I went there a lot. I went
Yeah,
there a lot. Um, Still
but I
would
remember
go
Taco
there.
Bell.
Huh?
I remember you working at Taco Bell though.
So Taco Bell was actually the one. Well, I think I worked at a snow cone place, but I can't quite place that in like a year range. Like it's so
Sure.
far away. But I can remember working there a bit, and then working at Taco Bell. So my mom and I went to eat at Taco Bell, which don't ask. So we're in line, and that was the same kind of thing. My mom's like, "Oh, look, they're hiring," and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, perfect." I was like, "Hey," I ran back in after, and I was like, "Hey, can I get an application?" She's like, "Yeah, sure," and gave me the application, and I think it was like maybe like a day, and I was just like, "Hey, we want you to work for us." I'm like, "Oh, great." So I went back and worked at Taco Bell, and it was an interesting time, right? Um, Not necessarily my crowd of people at Taco Bell. They stuck me up front because I'm handsome and I speak well, um, or I thought I did. I don't know. But maybe I was just the best of the speakers there.
It's really more of a comparative evaluation. Like
Yeah,
you spoke
yeah.
better
I mean, I did.
than the other candidates for that
The
position.
curve that I was graded on helped me out substantially. Um,
Sure.
and then I can remember the day that you told me that, hey, Panera's hiring. And I'm like, okay, perfect. This is my way out of Taco Bell because I still needed a job. But yeah, I went over to Panera, and it was me, you, and the rest of the like juniors and seniors in Northern Kentucky helping to open that restaurant for the first time,
Yeah.
which I still remember. I guess it's not something that they. I don't know if it's something they have now or not because I feel like when I go in there, it doesn't sound the same. But the microphone that hung down,
Yeah.
like that was my favorite part. Was obviously now being, you know, um, an announcer and doing other things with microphones in my life. That was like my favorite thing was to be like, just
Yeah.
being able to like kind of put my own spin on it. Um, but yeah, that was kind of my start, and then everything out after that was obviously college and beyond. But
Yeah. Yeah, with Panera, those were some fun days. I don't know how interesting that'll be to other people, but I really enjoyed that was the perfect job. Close to school,
mhm, close to
good
home
food.
too. You
Yeah,
could skip
and
there.
decent pay. I remember at Kroger getting like 5.25 an hour,
Mm,
and then I remember there at Panera like getting like 6.50 or something like that, and being like, oh, I feel rich.
right? Yeah,
But I
we were
still,
the elite for sure.
but I think that was actually one of the first Panera Breads in the whole Cincinnati area when they were just expanding and stuff. So I still go back there and eat. I still pop in there. I don't know anybody who works there anymore.
Yeah.
And that whole area has changed now with the whole mall being so different. But
Hmm.
but it's still rocking.
We used to push a car around the it was McAlpin's at the time. We used to push
Yeah.
a car around that and the Dillard's parking lot. And now, if we tried to do that, there would be no hill in the back, and we
No.
would also probably get yelled at by people because it's a little bit more populated.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it would be more difficult.
but yeah, I speaking of Panera, so back on my coffee kick, and Panera has a coffee subscription,
Yeah, I saw that when I was there
8.99 a month,
before.
and first 3 months are free. So I'm in day number 3 of my coffee subscription for the 3 months free, and yeah, yeah, it's a good
How
time.
do they check that? I'm curious, because
They just do
I'm
your
going to
phone
talk
number.
about vacation in a minute. But do you have to go in and actually pay, or can you just go and fill up and leave?
Well, I mean, I've went through the drive-through both times, but I think you still have to get a cup.
So it's probably with your Panera card or something, yeah,
Yeah, and it's
or
like
your
I
phone
think the
number.
stipulation is every 2 hours. It's like if you're drinking more than 2 cups of coffee in a 2 hour time frame, you might need to back off a
But if
little.
you also if you're sitting in the restaurant, you can get refills if you're doing work or whatever. I'm sure
That's
they're not
true.
going to
I
say
mean,
anything.
it probably depends on the location, but I don't think they're. I don't think
Now
they
that's to keep
provide
you
things.
from giving me your card. That's what that's about. So if you
Nothing.
can't, yeah,
Well, I was going to say there's nothing from that. I mean, you obviously know my phone number, so if you went through the drive-through at Panera,
yeah.
um,
But I'm just saying, like, you and your wife couldn't both use it at the same time, different play. Like it
yeah,
puts some limits in.
yeah,
But
probably you're probably right.
that's good to know because that actually is a really strange, but it is a valid connection to the question I want to ask you today. Because as we talked about before, I'm really much looking forward to my upcoming vacation where I'm coming to the United States,
Yeah,
coming to Kentucky, everything. And so I've been thinking a lot about vacation. And so Panera, noted in my brain, the coffee subscription or just use your phone number.
yeah.
No, I'll pay for my own.
Use your
But
phone for 10%
yeah,
off your next coffee at Panera.
yeah. But since I've been thinking about all of my upcoming vacation, we have 2 months, so we're thinking about a lot of different options. I was thinking, Drew, where is it that you would like to take vacation? Like, where are you interested? And I know maybe you and Candace have an idea, but where in the world? And two parts. Part A, where in the United States would you like to visit
Hmm.
that you haven't visited before?
Yeah,
And part
all of them.
B, where in the world? I added a little wrinkle here, but I'm curious to
So
hear what you got.
yeah, I'm gonna add a wrinkle to it. You said where in the United States would I like to go that I haven't been before? Well,
Or where you've been. It could. Sorry, it could be even where you've been. So that's okay.
and that was the thing I was going to say is since we have Lucy and Deacon now, I would love to go back to Disney, um,
Yeah,
Disney World in Florida. I think that would be
yeah,
fun. I think
yeah.
Lucy, um, she's had a few different books that she's read in first grade where they've talked about historical figures. Walt Disney was one of them, and the talking about Disney and Disneyland and everything, and Disney World, and she's like, "Oh, it's in Florida," and I'm like, "Yep." And she goes, "Well, why didn't we go when we were just in Florida? We could have just, we could have just stopped by there." And I'm like, "Well, it's that's not that easy." But the
Sure.
simplicity of like her question of like, "Hey, we were just in Florida, which, we were in Daytona Beach," and she's like, "Why couldn't we
Still a
just
few hours away.
right? Why couldn't we just pop over to Disney World?" Um,
Yeah,
but
that's a good one though.
that would definitely
And
be a
probably
place.
for Deacon, I would say maybe a couple more years, and he'll be on that same level of really being able to enjoy it and know everything that's happening.
Right, right. So it's more of like he would be a little too small to ride majority of the stuff. I don't know if Lucy is at that thrill seeking age yet. Um,
Yeah,
but like just I mean, you've been, right?
yeah,
I mean, we went, I don't know, however many years ago as adults with
mm.
Candace's parents, and just, I mean, everything is like magical. I mean, you think, oh, this is, it's hokey, it's, whatever, but you get there and it's
No, it's a
it's a
special
real deal.
place, and I because there's 2 years between Deacon and 3 years between Deacon and two or
Yeah.
three. How many
So
years?
Deacon's getting ready to turn 4, and Lucy's getting ready to turn 7. So yeah,
Yeah, so it's the 3 years.
yeah.
But I think when they're 7 and 10 or 8 and 11, they could both really enjoy it. But
Hopefully, a third one doesn't ruin it for him.
yeah, bam, man. But what about in the world outside? Sorry, my dog is barking.
In the world, let's go Norway.
Come here, Norway,
Yeah.
Tromsø, Norway, or Oslo. Come here, buddy. He
Yeah.
doesn't understand the
All
filming, so we're
all
just
of
gonna.
them, all of the Norways.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I with the I would say it Tromso, but you say it more like someone would say Target, and they go, "Oh, Target," right? So you
yeah,
give it a little flair. But I do follow that account on Instagram, and it's a beautiful place.
yeah.
So
And the reason you say it a little different is because the last letter is different. Like, so it's not a oh, it's a and I'm not even saying that right, but it's Tromsø. So no, but no,
yeah,
I think at Norway, you're not a bit huge international traveler, so I think that
no, never,
Norway, I think
never have I
especially for
ever.
people who Because I've been to. I mean, my wife is a much more experienced traveler around the world, but I think there are some places you can travel to that can be so different that perhaps they're a little bit uncomfortable. And I think Norway is a place where it is different. Different language, different food, but it's similar enough to where it's not completely uncomfortable. So
Mm.
I I support that desire.
The old Steve Mays 2 thumbs up.
Two thumbs, ding ding. But no, good to know. Disney
Yeah,
World and Tromsø,
yeah.
or Norway in general. What
What
else
about
does a boy want?
what about yourself? I mean, you're getting ready to come here, obviously, and you don't have you don't necessarily have a blank slate. You probably have most stuff planned out. Um, but I would phrase it to you: what place have you not been to? Uh,
Yeah,
that
one thing
I
we're
want to
planning
bring
to
up.
do while we're there, we're planning to have time in Kentucky with like you guys and my family and stuff, and then we're planning to do a
In our
road trip.
live studio audience.
In our live studio audience, free tickets. But you gotta like or subscribe. You gotta leave a comment if you want these
Oh,
free tickets.
yes.
We need you to like and
Play the
subscribe
game.
here.
Play the game.
Yeah, but we're planning a road trip to California, and then we're going to go to San Francisco. And so I'm really excited to go there. I've
Mm,
never been to San Fran. I've been to Southern California for basketball and stuff, but I've never been to San Francisco. But then we're going to fly to Hawaii. And so my sister's living in Hawaii right now. And
yeah.
so we're actually going to fly and stay with her for a week or so. So those two they're very different, Hawaii and San Francisco, but I've never been to either. And I'm really looking forward to it. So
Nice.
but internationally, we went to South Africa last year, and that was a lot of fun. And now I kind of have this itch for somewhere in Asia. Like I'm kind of feeling
Mm,
Thailand or Fiji. Um, those are kind of on my radar
yeah.
as possible destinations. But for me, my trip to the U.S. is kind of like international. So
Yeah. I hear
you
the
know,
water in Fiji's great.
yeah, I've heard. Don't they sell the water?
They do.
Very expensive water.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think, I think that Fiji sounds like a wonderful place to go.
Yeah.
Or Thailand, those all those places, they have some similar things to offer and a lot of beautiful culture to experience. So,
Yeah. Nice.
but before we wrap up here today, because we are in our final moments here of our episode number 2. Last week, I shouldn't say last week, but in our last episode, I taught you how to say goodbye in Norwegian. Do you remember how that was?
No.
Okay, so it's ha det bra,
How to
ha det bra,
how to bro.
have it good, ha det bra. And you got to sing a little bit. Ha det bra, ha det bra.
How to bro.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they sing a little bit here. But today I'm going to tell you,
Just
you
like
can
Disney.
always say hada. You can always say hada. You can always say hada bra. It's always acceptable. But if you want to be a little bit more casual, a little bit more friendly, you can say visas.
Recess.
Yeah, so think VEE in English is not how you spell it in Norwegian, but
Yeah.
VESES, like visas.
Recess.
That means see you later.
Okay.
So it's like we see, like visas, or we will see visas.
Okay. So the
So
first
now
one,
you
the
get
first one you said is always acceptable.
hada, bro, hada.
Okay.
When you come on your visit to Norway,
Yeah.
you will hear people go hada. I probably do it 5 times every day, if not 10. But visas is a little bit more casual, a little bit more friendly. So that is your Norwegian word of the day. I expect that you will write it on your door frames and on your forehead and on your hand, and you will memorize it. And the next time that we are together, you will remember your
Yes.
Norwegian word of the day. So,
Yeah.
any parting shots though before we wrap this up?
None from me. Happy to be back on the podcast train. I know for many reasons it took a bit, but yeah, looking forward to the coming weeks and looking forward to our live studio audience.
That's going to be exciting.
Like, subscribe, rate, review,
Send money.
resubscribe, re-rate, re-review,
Yeah, everything.
all of it.
And maybe we'll give you Drew's phone number so you can get a free coffee from Panera.
Yes,
That can be our prize.
that's for our Patreon members.
Patreon members gain access to Drew's Panera
If
account.
you join our Patreon, you can have my phone number and you can get free coffee at Panera. But you have to let me know when you're going so that way we can time it out every 2 hours.
So you get access every third day from 10 a.m. to noon.
Yeah, like
That's
yeah,
your yeah.
you can have the late coffee run. So anything
Yeah.
after 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, it's yours.
We'll work on this. We'll work on the details here, and we'll make it more
We'll
formalized,
have
and
a
we'll
flow
announce it in our
chart
next
and a
episode.
Excel spreadsheet.
If you want more info on this, it's a reason you got to listen to the next episode. So
Right.
like, subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time. Hada bra.
Recess.